and welcome to the CEB Wealth Management Conference entitled Introducing the Bionic Advisor. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. If any time during the call you require assistance, please press *0 and the coordinator will be happy to assist you. Also, you can submit a question on the Q&A box on the platform. This event is being recorded for replay purposes and may be made available on CEB member websites. Please contact virtual events at cebglobal.com with questions. I'll now turn the call over to Kristen Cressman with CEB. Please proceed, ma'am.
Everyone, my name is Kristen Cressman and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Before I get started, if you do need assistance logging into the webcast, please call CEB Virtual Events at 571-303-1033. And we also do have a Q&A chat box that you should see in your presentation view if there's any quick questions we can answer for you. Our presenters today are Darren Courtney, Paul Adak, and Keith Aliardi. Darren Courtney is a Principal Executive Advisor in CEB's Financial Services Practice, specializing in wealth management. He advises executives on their most pressing challenges, focusing on both business and technology initiatives via strategy sessions and hosted networking events. His research advisory areas include tools that enhance advisor-client collaboration, and that includes financial planning, portfolio management, client reporting, aggregation, digital tools, and other wealth-related platforms. Paul Adak is Vice President of Business Development and Marketing at InvestEdge. He has 28-plus years of domestic and international financial service industry experience. He is an accomplished leader holding senior-level positions in business development, marketing, relationship management, product development, and operations. Prior to joining InvestEdge, Paul was responsible for the creation, oversight, and delivery of SEI Investments wealth management programs delivered through banks and related distribution channels throughout the United States and globally. Keith Aliardi is the Chief Investment Officer for Fulton Financial Advisors. He has over 25 years of financial industry experience focusing primarily on the investment management of individual and institutional investment portfolios. He is responsible for leading the investment organization by setting overall investment policy, establishing client portfolio management guidelines, and ensuring the delivery of comprehensive investment solutions within Fulton Financial Advisors' disciplined, client-centric approach to wealth management. If you have questions for the presenters during the presentation, please use the pull-down chat box in the upper right-hand corner of the content viewer. All questions will be answered at the end of the webinar. A PDF copy of today's presentation slides and a replay link are available by sending an email to CEB Virtual Events at cebglobal.com. Additionally, a copy of the slides and a replay link will be sent to all attendees late next week. And with that, I will turn it over to Darren to get us started.
Thank you, Kristen, and thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning for our session entitled Introducing the Bionic Advisor, Leveraging Technology to Exceed Client Expectations in a Compliance and Data-Driven World. For the next 20 minutes or so, what I would like to cover is to kind of talk a little bit about kind of the background of what's going on in the industry as it comes to this need for kind of more of a bionic advisor and integrating technology into our everyday solutions as we try and meet growing client and industry needs, frankly. So how we're going to break down this particular section, I'm going to start by kind of looking at the client view and exploring how they've become a lot more digital, but not necessarily more do-it-yourself. And from there, I'll talk a little bit about kind of the role that advisors play and how they can actually take those digital tools and really enhance that experience and meet the expectations of their clients and some of the rewards that can come from doing that. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit from an industry level about what's going on for wealth management firms, how they're approaching this, what they're focusing on, what's kind of driving their decisions, and how they're trying to work to meet these needs. So jumping right in, when we look at it from a client side, there's no doubt that clients have become significantly more digital. So 89% of us own a smartphone, 77% own a laptop, about 70% on a tablet. Close to a third of us actually own a wearable device, so an Apple Watch or something of that nature. We like to do a little game in the meetings we host where we ask people how many digital devices they have on them in the room. Usually it averages 3 or 4. So we've become significantly more digital. No surprise there. What's interesting is how, when you take the digital experience and apply it to the wealth space, when you survey how clients want to interact with their wealth managers, with their firms, it's not a pure technology play. Most of the clients we talk to are not looking to do everything by themselves using technology only. There are some folks who want to do that, and there are still a few people, the majority of the baby boom generation, for instance, slight majority, still want kind of an in-person relationship, and that's all they want to do. But if you look to the middle there, most clients want to have kind of an integrated approach. They want to use some technology, they want to have some in-person interaction, and they want to kind of bring that technology into their interactions with their wealth firms like they do in all aspects of their life. And when we look to see kind of what they're doing, what they're using these digital tools for, overwhelmingly they're using them for things like accessing news and insights on financial markets, accessing their accounts and products and services. So there's quite a few things that they would like to do on their own, including tracking progress towards their financial goals. And that's an interesting one to focus on because we weren't even measuring that a few years back. But now, as the industry becomes more solutions-focused and more goal-oriented, people do want to track their progress towards their goals, and they want to do it online for their client-facing portal or on their mobile device. So we're definitely seeing a trend towards clients wanting to do certain things digitally. All the way over to the right, you see obtain financial advice. Only about 20% of the folks we surveyed wanted to do that digitally, but that number has more than doubled in about the last 3 years. So if that trend continues, 4 or 5 years down the road, you're going to see more than half of your clients want to start obtaining financial advice through digital channels. So digital continues to rise. There's no better example of this than probably the growth in Robo-Advice. We went out and looked at Google searches for the word Robo-Advice, and they've gone up tremendously over the last couple of years. But the interesting switch here is back in the day, when you talked about robo-advisors, it was Betterment and Gemstep and Wealthfront and the folks up above. But nowadays, you're hearing more and more about Fidelity and Schwab and Vanguard and other firms kind of getting into that space. And I would say the big differentiator there between some of the pure robos, not that some of the pure robos don't have advisors as well, but these larger firms are taking more of an approach of having kind of a segmented approach to their digital advice and having advisors available or call centers available, and then being able to steer people who come through a digital channel to the proper channels if they need more services or more advice. And so the robos are actually becoming a little more robust when you think of the larger wealth firms that are starting to employ them. And firms are going to continue to go down that road. As you can see here, about 30% of younger investors, Gen Y, are already using a robo-advisor or very likely to use one in the next 12 months. Only about 10% of all other respondents are in that field, but that's still 10% of your potential clients over the age 35 looking to potentially use a robo-advisor in the next year. And what's more interesting about that is that I think firms are kind of looking at the wrong target, in the sense that they're often thinking, oh, this is my mass affluent play, or this is where I'll steer my clients to make it profitable. But when we surveyed high net worth clients, the wealthier the client, in fact, those with more than $10 million in investable assets, were the more likely to actually use a robo-advisor in the next 12 months. And frankly, they're willing to put a larger percentage of their assets into that solution, I think averaging a little over 40%. That being said, again, those digital solutions, they expect them to be accompanied by advice and assistance and an advisor. And so, we know the advisors bring a lot more to the table, and that's still going to be your primary area of focus. You just need to kind of technologically enhance those advisors or make them more bionic, as we're looking at today. So when we go out and we look at clients, we ask them, hey, what's the most important thing that you're looking for when you are choosing a wealth management firm to work with. And it is not digital capabilities. It's the returns on their investments, it's the reputation of the firm, it's the quality of the planning and advisory services. Those things are more important than the quality of digital capabilities. And we're also seeing that people don't leave their wealth management firm because of the quality of digital capabilities or online tools either. They just don't need an advisor anymore, or they don't like the service they were getting, or they think they were being overcharged. Those are the things that make them leave. Not to say that digital is not important, but it is not the most important thing by a long stretch. And when we look at clients, although some are likely to use a robo-advisor, 25% are just slightly likely and 38% are not at all likely. And when we ask those clients, well, how come you're not going to use a robo-advisor? They'll tell you, because we really value the in-person advice. They like that relationship with their advisor. They want to deal one-on-one with someone. They want to work with a person, and there are tremendous benefits to that. So although the robo-advisors have their strengths in some areas, in a lot of ways they lack, in the sense that when it comes to things like financial decision making, they're one-off, set it and forget it. You answer a questionnaire, it builds a portfolio. Whereas your advisor is going to be able to talk to someone and say, hey, well, you might be indicating that you're a moderate investor or even a risky investor, but you're telling me that you need to make a major purchase next year or you need to pay for college next year, so maybe you need to be a little more conservative with this part of your portfolio. They can really get into the financial goal achievement discussions, really know their clients, be able to say, hey, I was looking on Facebook, I noticed that, you have a new child, you might want to think about college savings. So they know their clients better. They can have a much more holistic goal-based discussion with them, which is what clients want. And they're also more aware of their firm's capabilities. So, where a robo might be able to do a nice investment portfolio of limited investments, you're going to be able to talk about alternative investments or insurance products or banking products. Hey, maybe you need, to talk to our commercial division to talk about small business loans. So, you're able to bring true holistic wealth management and advice to that situation, which a robo cannot do. And not to focus too much on robos, because that's certainly not the only thing driving the industry today. There is just a basic general trend towards goal-based advice, towards solutions-based advice, which is much more complicated and difficult than just transactional advice. You've got competition from robos and other firms making it harder and harder to just sell on asset allocation, to have to actually do much more, whether that be financial planning or much more complex portfolio construction. And you also have the regulators getting into the game and insisting that you do what's in the best interest of your client, that you can prove that you're acting in their best interest. So whether it be CRM2 up in Canada or the DOL fiduciary standard down here in the States, or even other regulations like RDR or FOFA globally, there is this big focus on doing what's in your client's best interest. And 34% of the advisors we surveyed, felt that the greatest risk to their business in the future is the heightened regulation, disclosure, and compliance. And certainly not because they don't want to comply or do what's in the best interest of their customers. It's because it's difficult to track all of that, to have the technology that makes it easy to have goal-based discussions, makes it easy to look at multiple investment solutions, makes it easy to track, why they're making the decisions they're making, and keeping that all in one place. They need a lot more technology assistance to do that. And when we went out and talked to wealth management executives and said, well, what's the big deal? Why is it so hard to transition, kind of from a transactional to a solutions-based approach, a goals-based, holistic wealth management approach to giving advice? The executives will tell us, well, it's frontline staff buy-in and adoption. It's hard to get the advisors to do it. But when we ask them, well, how good are you at doing it? How good are you at getting advisor buy-in to this kind of change and firm-wide initiatives? The vast majority will say they're not very good at it. They don't really have a plan in place to do kind of large-scale changes or rollouts. As you can see in this quote on the bottom, one of the heads of the wealth management firms in North America said, advisors are all baby boomers, and they are asking for technologies that already exist. They just don't know how to use them. The technology is there. The challenge is training them to use it. And I'm not sure I completely agree with that. I think the technology is there. I think the challenge is bundling that technology in a way that they can use it by themselves and with their clients, and making it single sign-on and ease of use, and make it easy to use those technologies to operate. If they have to sign into 15 different systems and all those systems are complicated and don't talk to each other, I think that becomes more difficult and frustrating to them, and that's why they don't use it. But firms are beginning to focus on that and change where they can. So when we went out to firms, we said, okay, well, when you think about technology, we know it's important to advisors, we know it's important to clients, kind of what's driving your investment in technology. Overwhelmingly, it's new regulations. So whether it's DOL here, CRM2 up in Canada, like it's a mandate. We have to do this. We have to change our reporting. We have to change our tracking. We have to change our websites. It's cost, pressure, and efficiency. In this interest rate environment, all the clients I work with complain that it's really hard to profit when the interest rate environment is so low and the compliance costs are so high. It's client demand. Your clients are expecting a more transparent and holistic approach to their finances, and it's the availability of innovative technology. So whether it's competing with innovative technology like robos or adapting, business intelligence and artificial intelligence and some of the newer things that are coming down the road, or just better financial planning or CRM or portfolio management solutions, that's kind of driving investment. As well as technology obsolescence. Their platforms are just getting too old and they need to change. When we look at wealth management as a whole and say, okay, well, what's your business priority? What are you focusing on, in the next 6 to 12 months? Overwhelmingly, the most important thing for wealth firms is increasing advisor capacity for sales, planning, and advice. So they are looking to try and make it, get their advisors out in front of more people and increase that capacity for planning and advice. It's really hard to hire more advisors. There's not that many advisors out there, and they're expensive. But what you can do is you can arm them with technology to make life easier for them. And you can see right behind that is enhancing digital channels to complement the advisory experience. So not just putting on a website where a client can play by themselves, but bringing the two together, creating a digital experience where the advisor is freed up, has more time to talk to their clients, but can do so using digital tools that will enhance that experience. And there's two different ways to go about this when you think of digital solutions for clients. You can take kind of a convenience route, or you can take a confidence-oriented route. And the convenience route is really just making it easier for the clients to do things. The confidence route is using technology to help clients understand that they're going to achieve their goals or what they need to do to achieve their goal and kind of increase that confidence. And what we found is that just making things easier, like, hey, we're going to make it easier to onboard, like a robo solution or something of that nature, really doesn't increase loyalty at all, whereas helping clients feel better about achieving their goals has a significant increase on loyalty. And we can dig a little deeper into this on this slide. You can introduce technology that they'll find value added. So in this case, we measured if a firm were to put on a tool, say kind of a kind of retirement planning tool or financial goal tool, kind of an online calculator that someone could use to see how they're progressing towards their goals. We saw a 12.2 lift in loyalty by doing that. But if you bring in the advisor and have the advisor involved in the process, using that tool, working with the client, we saw a 17.9% lift above the 12.9. So you can go from 12.2 rather. You can go from 12.2 to closer to 30 just by having that advisor involved. And the important thing here is that little orange triangle in the middle that focuses on kind of the ideal level of advisor involvement. And what clients are really looking for is they're looking for the advisor to, use the tool, do the interaction with them with some input from them. So maybe they go onto a portal and do a little on their own, or maybe they hold an iPad in their hand and answer some questions, but they really want the advisor to drive the process. And the problem is currently the digital tools available to clients and advisors are lacking. Less than half of the firms we surveyed feel that they have, decent real-time reporting or ease of monitoring investment performance or financial management tools. And the most frightening thing is all the way to the right. When you look at applicability of online capabilities to interactions with advisors, less than a third think that they do that well, which means that, yeah, you might have a portal for your clients, but your advisor has no idea what they're doing on that portal, or they're not sharing it together, and they're not collaborating, which is, as we know, is what clients want. And it's not just client-facing technology. The advisors, as they become more solutions-based and less transactions-based, they're really increasing their use of technology. So you see a tremendous increase in CRM usage, portfolio management, client reporting, financial planning is up significantly, managed account platforms. So all of these things are on the rise. But unfortunately, it's up to firms to really make them more capable and integrated and easier to use so the advisor frees up more time to better serve their clients. And when we look and see how effective these technologies are today, overwhelmingly you can see with the exception of securities processing, less than half of the firms that we surveyed actually find these technologies, effective or very effective. Financial planning, portfolio management, a little bit better than others, but some important tools like client reporting or even CRM, not getting great scores. About 70% of people think their CRM system is not currently effective today, for instance. So to recap, clients are becoming increasingly more digital and have raised expectations of how they wish to interact with their wealth management firms. This does not mean clients have become more do-it-yourself, however. If anything, they are seeking kind of collaborate with advisor or CWA, bringing in their advisor when necessary, but handling simpler tasks when it's convenient for them at 2 in the morning or when they get off work, not necessarily when the advisor is at their desk. Now, advisors are not afraid to embrace technology. We see that year after year. But firms need to arm them with the tools to support a kind of a collaborative and digital experience. And to increase loyalty, it is more important for advisors to teach their clients and help them attain their goals in a collaborative yet compliant manner, as regulatory changes are causing greater scrutiny and danger. And then finally, firms realize the importance of complying with regulatory demands and enhancing advisor capabilities for sales, planning, and advice delivery. They understand the need for an enhanced kind of bionic digital experience between advisor and client. But most firms do not offer the capabilities to support these needs. And despite increased adoption, most advisors supporting technologies are not quite considered effective as of yet. But hopefully that'll be changing soon. And I'm going to turn it over to Paul Adek from InvestEdge to talk a little bit about that. Paul?
Great. Thank you, Darren. Your insight and comments are always on target and very interesting. And Kristen, thanks for introducing me. First, over on the, you'll see it moving on the right-hand side, we have a polling question, which says which features would drive client adoption of a portal. And during the rest of the presentation, please feel free to choose your top 3 choices, and we would appreciate that. Again, this is Paul Adek from InvestEdge, and what I first want to do is to introduce InvestEdge. InvestEdge is the leading provider of wealth management solutions in North America for managing, measuring, and reporting on ultra-high net worth and high net worth accounts. Our expertise is in data unification, portfolio management workflow, performance measurement, client reporting and communications, and related activities. This is our business. This is where we focus. This is our expertise and where we spend all of our time. We've also been fortunate enough to win a number of industry awards regarding our platform, specifically on client reporting and our client service model, and we own a number of patents, technology, and we're very proud of that. As Darren spoke about, the Bionic Advisor, it's an interesting topic from our perspective. And the concept is really using technology to drive client engagement, not just to be convenient. So establishing that relationship with the client, combining human advice and technology, we think is very important. And I think we can all agree that we're overloaded with information, and clients are overloaded with information, and they're looking for direction and comfort. We have access to websites via our phone, our computers, TV, newspaper, advertisements. It's everywhere. And one of the challenges is turning all this information and data into insight to support the best and smartest human advice that you can provide to your clients, and really tailor that advice to your clients. And again, that's going to give clients comfort and feel good about their relationship. My guess is more than one of us is multitasking right now, leveraging, looking at our computer, maybe looking at our phone, maybe having a TV in the background. So technology isn't just for millennials. It's always there. It's always on. both professionally and personally, which is why we need to help clients sort of control and manage this information. So if you focus on the client problem, which I think we all have, which is information overload and ultimately the need for personalized investment advice, leveraging the best and smartest technology solution will lead to greater client engagement and higher value relationships. I know it's a long sentence, but it's an important point to kind of harness all the information and pass it on to your clients. And we feel advisors who follow this approach and think about this will be the long-term winners as we go forward. And again, balancing human advisory role with technology based on what you do as an advisor and how you relate with your clients is the ideal combination. Slide. And where we believe advisors should spend their time really should be transforming all this information, the high quality quantity of information that's available, into high quality of information. Advisors who can deliver actionable intelligence and insight and reduce that flood of information that we're bombarded with, if they can do that effectively, it's going to be appreciated by your clients. It's going to increase trust, it's going to increase engagement, and it's really going to make your client's life easier. I know personally I look for that. Even today we're bombarded with financial information, political information, combination of information, and sometimes it's hard to make sense of all of that. That will allow you to increase your accessibility to your clients and prospects. So if you're more accessible when they need you, and using technology to deliver the solutions they need and even self-service at times, your relationship is going to be enhanced with that client. It's also important to think about your business partners. Spending time and thinking about and building the relationship with your business partners is also critical to your success. Sometimes we only think about clients, sometimes we only think about partners, but again, we believe that combination is very, very important. And then using that information insight to really establish or enhance those client relationships, because again, you're trying to enhance the current relationships you have, and I'm certain everybody on the call is looking to establish new client relationships and build your business. And again, delivering advice that leads to higher investor confidence and satisfaction will be important. And I'm going to sort of underline the confidence. So, you know, when you reach out to your client, whether it's through technology or whether it's a personal meeting or whether it's on the phone, giving them confidence that they selected the right partner, the right program, and you're on it for them is going to give them confidence and it's going to extend your relationship with that client. Because if you think about it, you know, we're all in the annuity business. The longer we all keep and you keep a client, the more valuable it is and the more valuable that relationship is from the client's perspective to you. And wisely leveraging technology will free your time to focus on the most pressing client issues. So if a client just needs to know an account balance, providing them the technology to do that, but if they're nervous because of market conditions, you want to be available to them. And one thing to think about is just sort of throwing technology both at your firm and at your clients. You need to be careful of that because I think we can all relate to from time to time it can be overwhelming. I think we probably see that in our personal lives. I see that as I'm bombarded with more, you know, websites, signups, passwords, and user IDs. You just need to be aware of that and how you introduce that to your clients. So some things to think about, how to become that Bionic advisor. First, I think it's becoming clear you want to stay front and center with your client. Using that technology to enhance those relationships rather than replacing the advisor interaction. So we're not saying use technology to replace yourselves, we're using technology to enhance that relationship. And that doesn't mean there's not a place, as Darren said, for digital solutions or robo solutions We believe it's the combination thereof that's going to be the most valuable to your client. And if you can establish yourself as something we call the alpha advisor, whom the client relies on as being one of many, will be very critical to your relationship. You know, the alpha advisor will ultimately be the go-to advisor, the trusted advisor, sometimes even regarding assets and issues that you don't have responsibility over. But you want to be the go-to person in that relationship. And if you think about it the other way, if you're not positioned as the alpha advisor, the trusted relationship, your relationship is at risk because somebody else is trying to do the same thing. So you want to think about that with your relationships. You also want to think about delivering what we call the right technology tools. It's the ones that free yourself from low-margin routine tasks, combining that technology with your human touch, prioritize strategic advice, and really allow time to prospect for new clients and work with your partners. You know, we're suggesting if you do that, you streamline your business and your relationships, and your business is going to be that much more valuable, that much more productive, that much more critical to your clients. Some of the things, I think I moved up too far. Some things to think about to become the Bionic advisor. You want to first think about your firm's strengths and limitations. So, you know, what can you do? What can't you do? What other priorities you have? And ultimately, you're going to create an actionable plan. That's something that you can manage. It's got to be manageable, something you can do. You have to choose the right partners and processes along the way. You want to balance technology that fits and best supports your human role. So what works for you, what works for your clients, you want to be prepared to evolve as clients in the industry evolve. I think we're seeing a lot of that right now, that, you know, the industry is changing, so you need to be thinking about that and being aware of that. You want to stay aware of compliance industry dynamics by leveraging your professional partnerships and technology providers. You can't do everything yourself, so you want to think about that. And you also want to create long-term relationships, highest value services, things that are most important to your client and partners, and create consistency with your relationships. And then just want to suggest a few things maybe to avoid issues with implementing technology. You want to consolidate and collect client data. You want to be that alpha advisor. You want to implement client portals that provide information to your clients when they need it and when they want that, not so they can self-service anytime. So if they're on a Sunday evening and want to read some commentary because they have free time, it's available to them. You also want to streamline advisor-client workflows. You want to reduce paper, documents, and statements. So you want to reduce clutter at your client side. You also want to look at implementing you want to automate, investment implementation and management processes, one that's going to reduce risk and ultimately enhance your compliance. Then as I continue, you want to focus on delivering high-quality content and client communications. You can do that to, one, reinforce your brand and reinforce the investment program that you have created for your client. So it's important about that as you think about it. The information or the statements, the reports, the data access through technology is really what your clients see from you. They may not see you on a weekly, daily, monthly, or even quarterly basis. So what gets sent to them is important. And ultimately, simplifying your client lives and freeing them to focus on what matters most is important. So those are the things you want to think about. And if you can use technology to stand out from your competition, that's going to be critical to your business, because if you focus, that'll allow you to focus on your core competencies, what you're good at, what your clients expect from you. That'll be critical to your relationship going forward. And then what I want to do is turn it over to Keith Aliardi. I think Keith will give us some real advisor firm perspective and what's happening in the real world. Keith?
Thank you, Paul. Terrific insights. I appreciated hearing your perspectives. Well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. As Paul said, my name is Keith Aliardi. I'm the Chief Investment Officer of Fulton Financial Advisors. And what I'd like to do with the last few minutes we have together is just talk a little bit about how Fulton Financial Advisors exceeds our client expectations through, among other things, blending technology with high-quality, interactive advice and guidance. I'll begin just simply with a brief overview of who Fulton Financial Advisors is. We are the investment management, the individual and investment management division of Fulton Bank, part of a 6-bank, 5-state holding company, Fulton Financial Corporation, based in Lancaster, PA. Our advisory division is a little over $9 billion in assets under management across multiple business units, everything ranging from private foundation and nonprofit to institutional, as well as a high net worth business across all business segments, from mass affluent to high net worth. I thought, as planning for this discussion, the best way to describe how we blend technology in combination with high quality and integrated investment advice was to talk a little bit about our goals as a firm. And we have 3 primary goals that we operate across every day. And first and foremost is that, as at all possible, we want to act as the primary advisor of all of our clients' financial considerations through both comprehensive planning and wealth advisory management services. So, really what that means is that we want to deliver advice that leads to high investor confidence and satisfaction. We want to be the center of all of our clients' financial needs. We want to be able to be that institution, that advisor that our clients go to for everything from, should I buy a car or should I give to this charity? In that way, we think that we are positioning ourselves to have long-term relationships with our clients and not purely just providing an investment management solution. Secondly, we also want to be known for our integrative technology that enhances the client experience. That means that it's not just about reporting data, but bringing information to life. We want to be able to leverage the technology. I use the word integrative because that defines itself as unifying separate things. And we're unifying many different things. So Darren talked about the bundling of technology. We operate in an environment in our trust and investment management business that uses multiple systems, multiple vendors, multiple sources of data. And our goal is to unify that data, unify that information so that we can bring some color, some context, and solutions to our clients. We also want to unify our clients' needs. Our clients tend to have multiple needs, multiple situations. They are complex in their financial affairs. And if we can use technology to unify their needs as well, we think we have a successful relationship. Lastly, we want to retain a sales-focused corporate culture by identifying all potential revenue streams when developing and managing existing client relationships. So undoubtedly, we want to expand wallet share in a client-sensitive manner. We want to, but this isn't just about expanding fees. It's about increasing profitability, and you may understand that's most likely our most difficult goal, because what you're talking about here is not only increasing the wallet share of our clients by executing on the first two goals, but it's also obtaining data that can show us what the profitability is of a client. So when we look at those things, we're talking about CRM systems, we're talking about account management systems, we're talking about distribution of client information. So again, it becomes a real challenge to really understand not only what we're doing for clients, but what the metrics are around those particular clients. We believe that if we can execute on all three of those goals and incorporate our integrated technology with high quality wealth management advice, we think there's benefits to both our advisors internally as well as our clients. For starters, I think any firm's primary objective is to create enduring clients. We know that that increases the retention, less volatility, and reduction of clients, and we create higher probability. We believe the best way to do that is by empowering advisors to strengthen relationships. To provide them the tools and information to provide high-quality advice. I think about it from the perspective of Darren's slide when he talked about it's a combination of technology as well as involvement and engagement with an advisor. We want to create that empowerment. We want to make sure that our advisors are aware and know that they can rely on the technology, they can rely on the resources within the firm, and empower them to really concentrate on the relationship of a client. We think that supports confident, clear decision-making, both at the client level and the advisor level. The fact is my belief is clients continue to expect expert diagnosis of their financial situation. I think in the industry we've talked many times about how we equivalate that to the medical profession. We need the solutions so that and the diagnosis and the information on time, real time, to provide high quality solutions to our clients. I talked a little bit about being the go-to primary advisor, the QB on all wealth managers. Whether we're managing the money or not, we want to be looked at on an aggregate basis as the person or the firm that our advisor trusts the most. And we build that trust by bringing ideas and solutions to clients. Investment management, in part, is being commoditized, purely the investment management component of a client relationship. What I believe will never be commoditized will be the ideas and solutions that we bring to our clients. It's about individualization of access and close to real-time view as possible. The use of technology certainly is the key component of delivering that experience. We want to be able to provide clear communication and information to our clients as quickly as possible. When they have a question, we want to have answers for them. It has to be personalized as well. While it may be fast-paced, they have to understand that this is about them and not about everybody. They want that advice, but they want it in a timely manner, but also a personalized manner. And we believe the technology that we utilize helps us provide and deliver that. I was talking to a portfolio manager just the other day who was so excited about the fact that a client asked a question about performance, and we were able to generate on demand the performance data that answered that question. And it wasn't about specifically the numbers. It was the story behind the numbers that really supported the client satisfaction in that relationship. The fact is that mass customization and consistency at a firm level, the challenge is to do that, but still deliver a personalized experience. I think our clients want to know we have a lot of clients, but they want to feel like they're the only one. And we think our technology and our ability to do that is what creates success with the folks that we deal with. We want to turn that data into insight. I talked about that a little bit. We want to eliminate the guesswork. We want that information to be in front of our client. And we think our reports and the types of things that we can generate delivers those solutions to our clients. And we never want to lose sight of the human advice portion of this. No matter how effective the technology is, we believe that our clients still want to interact with our advisors. They want to interact with our advisors because we've built the trust and the confidence within our clients executing on all the other things that I just talked about. But I think when we can do that, when we can provide the right technology and with the right level of human advice, that's how we differentiate our firm. We talk a lot about what are differentiators for Fulton Financial Advisors, and the reality is the industry is pretty stable with the notion of the newest product or service. I mean, the reality is that maybe the robo component of it is the newest version of what the investment management and wealth management industry is delivering. But at the end of the day, we think a combination of integrated technology, interactive technology with human advice is the best way to differentiate our company with our clients. So I believe I'll turn it back to Kristen to provide a Q&A opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Darren, Paul, and Keith. As Keith just mentioned, it is time for the Q&A portion of our webinar. To submit a question, please use the Q&A chat box that is in the upper right-hand corner of the content viewer. So the first question we have is actually for you, Keith. What specific technology solution are you currently focused on implementing?
Yeah. I think our biggest challenge in our industry right now is dealing with sub-accounts. We use sub-accounts across multiple model or UMA style managers, and working on solutions to create a more efficient, streamlined process around sub-accounts is probably the biggest area that we're looking at today.
Great. Thank you, Keith. And another question actually we have here for you, Keith. Are your goals and initiatives a new direction, or are you refocusing your efforts to build your business?
We are refocusing our efforts. I think these goals that we've outlined here are I would say are relatively new in this fashion. Quite frankly, we're a 150-year-old bank and about a 100-year-old trust department. We talk about the fact that change was not in our vocabulary for the first 149 or so. But through regulation and client demand, we've recognized that change is a huge part of our business in the financial service industry today, and that technology is really going to lead a good portion of that change and the adoption of technology. So the goals are I would say they've always been in existence, but this is certainly a refresh.
Great. Thank you, Keith. Another question we received is for Darren. Should firms be building a robo-advisor solution for their wealthier clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the answer is maybe. No, I think the real answer is it's kind of impossible to do. What firms need to do is take the kind of some of the capabilities of robo-advisors that your wealthier high net worth clients would like and apply them to that kind of bionic experience that Keith and Paul have been talking about this morning. I mean, the reality is the reasons robos work is that they're pretty simplistic in the sense that it's just an ETF portfolio or a simple portfolio of mutual funds, and you're basically, answering a risk tolerance questionnaire and you're off to the races. When you're dealing with truly high net worth, ultra high net worth clients, of tens of millions of dollars and usually multiple business holdings or things of that nature. Their portfolios tend to be focused not purely on simple tax optimization, but truly tied into their larger plans, whether that be business planning, estate planning, charitable gift giving. So you're not going to be able to do laddered bond portfolios or complex alternative investments or bringing aspects of their banking needs and other outside holdings through an automated advice engine. It's just not going to work. And right now, there's some solutions that have some simple goal questions or whatnot, but, as Keith was kind of alluding to with sub-accounting and issues that are an issue right now, to really put together kind of a unified portfolio that's looking at a client's household, looking at their spouse's accounts, their children's accounts, their charitable accounts, their business accounts, and, tying all of those assets to individual goals and sub-accounts to align with those goals in the long term, to do that in a simplified, automated fashion is almost an impossibility. But what you do need to focus on is things like, ease of opening up accounts, online reporting, maybe aggregation, some of the things that the robos do well, because your higher net worth clients do want to see everything in one place if they can. They do want to be able to check and see how their portfolios are doing. They do want to make additional investments or invest or open accounts easily. So some of the things that the robos do well should certainly be adopted by wealth firms, but they're going to enhance that with the services that their firms provide, as well as the insight and the personalization that only an advisor can bring to that equation.
Great. Thank you, Darren. And we have a question here for you, Paul. Can you give an example of a client who's implementing technology solutions to enhance their advisor-client relationships?
Sure. We have a client who implemented our advisor platform to help them communicate back to their client, trade, report on performance, and so forth. They're implementing, or they have actually implemented, our client portal solution. And as part of that client portal, they'll be taking investment statements and we'll be sending those to the portal for client access. That client can access it securely. They can file it. It's there. They no longer need to receive that on paper. They are receiving multi-custodian tax statements, so they're available as a repository for those clients or those clients' providers to access tax statements. They're publishing client-specific commentary and information, including videos, and pushing information to their clients so their clients can access it when they desire, not necessarily when the advisor is available. So I think it's a great solution. The feedback from our clients has been terrific. They really appreciate having that information accessible when they want it.
Great. Thank you, Paul. And thank you, everyone. That concludes our Q&A for today. As a reminder, a PDF copy of today's presentation slides and a link to the replay will be sent to all attendees late next week. On behalf of InvestEdge and CEB Tower Group, we thank you for joining us today.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's conference. Thank you for your participation. You may now disconnect. Have a great day.